back to another video from HSTV, and in today's video, as you can see by the video title, I'm going to be telling you exactly how you can achieve 7 hours of studying every single day. Wrong. Do not study for 7 hours every day. If you are new to the channel and you don't know who I am, my name is Heen Shamaz and I'm going into my final year of medical school here at the University of Edinburgh. And this 7 hour a day studying routine was something that I set myself up to for the last week before my final 5th year exams. So this is not a routine that I recommend you do every single day forever, because you will burn out very quickly. I would say that on average I study about 2 or 3 hours a day. In the 6 weeks before my exams, maybe about 5 hours a day, and the last week when I just really wanted to polish up on everything, I did 7 hours a day. And this is how I did it while still achieving somewhat of a life and some free time outside of medical school. So step 1 is to actually have a plan. Use ChatGPT to help you make a plan. What is it that you want to achieve for 7 hours each day? The worst case scenario is that you sit at your desk scrolling on your phone. That is high level procrastination, which we cannot afford as medical students. So please don't do that. For me, in the last week, I set myself a target of doing 100 questions each day and going over each of the concepts. 100 questions is actually not a lot, but when you are going through concepts and you're actually you're not just doing the questions for doing the questions, you're going over things as you do it. That's like 100 conditions a day, which does add up to a significant amount of time. And I think having goals like that, it helps you stay on track. It helps make sure that you are doing something productive. Step 2 is to really utilize the morning hours. Now, I'm not saying that you need to get up at 5 a.m, especially if you're not a morning person. You know, if you're going to set yourself a target of waking up at 5 a.m, you'll do that for a week and then everything will just crash and burn and go up in flames and you'll just be so demotivated, right? So please choose a time that is sustainable for you, but try and be consistent with it. So for me, like, I could get up at 9 a.m, study between 9 and 12, then take a 1 hour break, study from 2 until 5, then take another little break, and then study in the evening for another couple hours, and that is 7 hours. So actually, when you think about it, 7 hours sounds like a lot, but when you factor it into your overall day, if you stick to a good routine, it's actually quite easy to achieve. Obviously, if you're waking up even earlier than that, then there's even more time for you to study or more time to, chill out. So I'd say the morning hours in particular is where you should be focusing on your most challenging tasks. So when you get up in the morning, I never do this anyway, but don't scroll on your phone, don't do any activity that releases loads of dopamine, okay? So I would literally get up, have a glass of water, and at my desk, okay? Like, I'm just trying to reduce the number of distractions, reduce the number of hurdles that it takes me to begin studying. Like, I just want to start, get in that zone, and honestly, you'll notice this, but you will study a lot better in the morning compared to the evening, even though yes, some of us are night owls, but I would still really recommend to utilize the morning hours if you're planning on doing long studying days. Step 3 is to eat well and eat light, okay? Try to avoid going through long periods of time where you're hungry, because then the chances are when you do eat, you're going to eat something that's very high in carbohydrates. It's going to spike your insulin and it's going to give you that slump where you just want to take a nap, go to sleep, and you don't want to study. So to try and avoid that, try and eat frequently but lightly so that you're not causing this spike in insulin. Also, just focusing in on healthy foods. You guys know all that stuff already, but I really thought that foods like salmon and avocado, healthy fats, obviously home cooked meals, a good breakfast, fruits and veg, all this kind of stuff really does go a long way. So just try and incorporate it throughout your day. Have a breakfast, have a lunch, have a dinner. Just really look after yourself and make sure you are getting all your meals in on time. Avoid really high sugar and fatty foods, because they make you feel rubbish, and when you feel rubbish, your brain's not going to be in that zone to actually focus and study. So we're trying to come up with routines and ways in which we support the body to be able to focus. Okay, step 4, and we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but really be honest with yourself and your progress and your plan. So you are the best person who can find out the potential traps in your study goals and study plans. So for me, setting myself a target of 100 questions each day, it's very easy to just scroll through 100 questions within the space of an hour and then say that, oh, I've done my goal, so I don't really need to study anymore. But I know in myself, and I have to be really honest, that actually that is not the most effective use of my time. So if I'm setting myself a goal, I have to make sure I'm actually following through with it properly and it is productive. So having goals and time constraints, it can be a good way to make sure you're not dwelling on topics, but it's also a fine line between, you know, just racing through stuff and not giving it the time that it needs. So be really careful with that and just catch yourself out as soon as that happens, because it will. Step 5, be consistent and track your progress. Now, those two go hand in hand with each other, because it's really easy for me to say be consistent with your plan, right? But sometimes when you don't see the progress straight away, that really demotivates you. So if you've got a plan that's feasible, something you can stick to it and trust it in the first instance, because if you don't trust your plan, then everything else is, you're setting yourself up for failure, right? So, you know, have some belief in yourself, first of all. Secondly, track your progress where you can, and for me that was things like PassMed. PassMed tracks your progress anyway. It tracks how many questions you do, what kind of percentage you're getting. It tracks your progress over time, over a number of months. So that's really satisfying for someone like me who does care about my progress, and it helps me to stay motivated. It helps me see that actually the plans that I'm putting in place, this amount of work that I'm doing each day is paying off. So it's a good estimate, and it helps you, you know, stick to the consistency. Step 6, exercise and still find stuff to do in your free time. Try and stay active. This is the one I'm really bad at, because I'll get into the zone of studying and then I'll be like, no, I need to ignore everything else. I'm studying, so I just need to focus on this. But it's a really bad approach, okay? So try and stay active. Like those really good endorphins, the good hormones, you need them in your body to be able to stay motivated the next day. Otherwise you will just become really grumpy and stressed, and all that's going to have an effect on other things in your life. So you've got to make sure that alongside the studying you don't burn out. I guess off the back of that, vary your study methods, because when you keep doing the same repetitive thing over and over, your brain can sometimes zone out and just feel really rubbish. But actually, if you watch a YouTube video, do a few questions, make a mind map on your whiteboard, those sort of things really help me to stay focused and stay engaged. It's the same sort of a concept as, you know, the reason why we like scrolling on our phones is because of this new information that we get. It kind of excites our brain, and I think with studying sometimes, because we just keep doing the same thing over and over, it gets boring. But actually, if you vary your topics that you're studying and vary the methods and how you study, then it can help you to stay focused a bit more. And the last tip that I would say is to really prioritize your sleep. Because when you sleep right, then the next day is going to start up good for you. If you don't sleep right, then you're going to wake up groggy the next day, and then it's all going to be a vicious cycle. So yes, this is a how to study video, but sleep is a big part of being able to study successfully. And make sure you're not pulling all-nighters, revising or anything like that. I do not recommend that in any way. Yes, I've had days where I've stayed up to midnight, 1 a.m. Sometimes you're just in the zone and you're scared of breaking that zone because you're so into something and it's working out well for you. But you just have to be careful not to kind of self-sabotage yourself, not to self-destruct, but really take care of yourself, because a big part of studying long hours is taking care of yourself. And if there's anything that you take away from this video, is to have a good routine, to take breaks, eat well and sleep well. Alright everybody, well that's going to be the end of this video. I hope that this has been useful for you, and now you can see exactly how I managed to pull off 7-hour study days. I think in a nutshell, I'd say 7-hour study days are not feasible long term, but there are circumstances where you do just need to lock in and get the work done. I think the reason I was able to do it is because I had a plan, I stuck to the plan, and I took care of myself. I tracked the progress to keep my motivation up. That is, I think, the key in trying to be consistent with whatever it is that you are wanting to achieve. So with that, I will see you all in my next video. Goodbye.